hammered, and Billy Martin and the Yankees want the bat. Look at Martin.
Well, what they're talking about, Frank, is that he's got too much fine tar, and you've got to have a certain amount of distance from the trademark of the bat and the fine tar.
And Nettles is leaving the field as if the game is over. He's just coming in.
I'm not sure. They might have a legitimate gripe. They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, the Yankees win. He's out.
Yes,
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out. And
team is mad.
He is out and having to be forcibly restrained from hitting plate umpire Tim McClellan.
Podtar. Finally, we were back. As we took a little break there. We had the last episode we had was that, postseason preview show right before the postseason started. But now we're back here. It's 3 weeks removed from the Nationals winning their first World Series. And that was quite the World Series. We'll get more into that a little bit later. But joining me for this episode is the Scorecrow creator, Johnnie Black. So thanks for coming on, Johnny. How are you doing today?
Good, Alex. What's going on, man? How you doing?
All right. Just, a lot of stuff going on here. Obviously, we all heard about the Astros, stealing signs. It came out what was it, last week? And, just a lot of shit going on. Twitter is going nuts over it. But it's kind of funny. A lot of people making memes and stuff about it. It's just
yeah,
big thing. It's a big deal.
Yeah, you got that guy John Boy
Yeah.
on Twitter blowing stuff up with videos, and he's already got merchandise going and everything. It's hysterical.
Yeah,
Houston
Astros.
asterisks and all this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, but just to recap here, this last week, Mike Fiers, who pitched for the Astros in 2017, he told The Athletic that they had a camera set up in center field that was focused on the catcher, and they also had a TV set up in the runway to spot so they can see the catcher's signs. And when they saw the sign, they would bang on a trash can to alert the hitters to what pitch was coming. And then since Fiers came out with the information, a lot of other former teammates and players have backed him up. Today, I think today or yesterday, Trevor Bauer, who pitched for the Indians in 2017, he tweeted out, that he knew it wasn't just, he knew that something was going on there because he saw there was somebody pointing a phone into their dugout during that, and then the Astros came out and said this is just, we're just making sure that they don't cheat or other teams aren't cheating. That's why we're pointing a phone into their dugout. It's like now we realize that that was completely bullshit. They lied through their teeth about it. It's like, come on.
Yeah, didn't they have that guy removed from the stadium?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was last year they did that. I think it was 2018.
Oh yeah, last year probably was it?
I think during the ALCS or something. I think they were playing the Yankees, I believe. Were they playing the Yankees? No, it wasn't last year then because Boston played.
I think it was 2017 at the Indians.
Maybe, yeah.
I
remember Bauer saying something about it previous to this whole thing. He's called them out before.
Yeah, and then also not even last year. This year in the ALCS, the Yankees were saying that the Astros are making whistling noises to try to alert the hitters, and then that was when the press conference after the game, Adrian Hinch kind of laughed it off, and he was like, why would we do such a thing? If we knew that was going to tick off the Yankees, we would have practiced this. We would have practiced this in the off season in spring training. If we knew this was going to help us or whatever, but the way he was saying it, coming across, he just sounds like a complete asshole about it. Now it comes out that they're stealing signs. And obviously, I know it's not totally what's the word? It's not totally
hasn't been proven yet. I mean, really, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
But there's definitely some you can definitely see the evidence that's there. Like you said, the John Boy videos he made, like you can hear the banging. Not that you can prove that it's actually from the dugout, but it's pretty kind of it does sound like it.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, you know, it's really hard to say nowadays. I mean, and I'm not one to accuse anyone of doctoring videos or anything like that. You know, because I saw that when the John Boy video came out with the bang bang stuff and everything like that. Obviously, a lot of Houston fans, especially, were saying, "Well, he just doctored the video." It's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. MLB's investigating it. How far it goes, this could go two ways. This could go that, you know, it's basically like, well, yeah, it's against the rules. You get a slap on the wrist because MLB kind of knows everyone's doing it. If it's that widespread, I can't imagine, honestly, that the Astros are the only teams doing something like this anyway. I mean, wasn't it the Red Sox and Yankees with the Apple phones and stuff?
Yeah, it was like, what was it, 16 or something?
As long as there is competition at a high level, there are going to be people who try to get around the just going out on the field and playing the game. They're going to try to get the advantage. And I mean, we've seen this in Major League Baseball for years and years and years. I mean, I recently read the story about the 51 Giants. And Leo DeRocher, the Giants were 14 and a half games back in August. And, of course, the Giants went on a tear and wound up tying the Dodgers for the National League pennant then. Obviously, there wasn't East, West, and Central. But they tied the Dodgers for the National League pennant and played a 3-game playoff. And that's when Bobby Thompson in Game 3 hit the shot heard around the world off Ralph Branca and everything like that. So, and they wound up winning the World Series and stuff. But it's been going on since then, at least. Now, they had an elaborate setup, too. They had a guy in center field. Supposedly, the Cubs have done this through the years with the guy with the scoreboard in the outfield, that he would give signs to the dugout, you know, or whatever, and relay them. All this stuff. Who knows? Half these people are dead by now, so no one's really going to know for sure. But, I mean, this has gone on forever. Now, of course, in 1951, they didn't have the kind of technology they do now. So it was more like a, radio or whatever, or, anything like that. But I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, if it's against the rules, it's against the rules.
Mm-hmm.
You got to come down on them. But I just don't know. You know what it is? It's almost like the steroid stuff. I mean, it's like everyone just turned a blind eye to it in Major League Baseball. Everyone knew what was going on. You know what I mean? But they ignored it because everyone was doing it. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. It's almost like one of those things that, speeding is illegal. You get a ticket for speeding, doing a 50 and a 25. People do it. Some people get caught.
Yeah.
But everyone does it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how to compare it. Like, jaywalking. I mean, how many people get tickets for jaywalking anymore? But it's still against the law.
Yeah.
So if you get caught, can you bitch about your ticket?
Mm.
Can you go to court and say, well, no one else gets any jaywalking? No, you really can't because it is against the law.
Yeah. That was a good analogy too about the speeding and stuff like that. But that reminded me of what's his name? The one guy in the Michael K show. He said something similar to that too. I was watching the other day.
Oh, really?
That's the guy. I forget his name, but the guy that does hockey too stuff. He does hockey.
Oh, Emmerich? Emmerich?
No.
No.
What's his name? I forget it. Whatever his name is, but
I don't watch the Michael K show anymore. I'm not down in New York.
That's what he did. This he said the same analogy. It was people going 20 miles over the speed limit all the time, but it's only one person that gets caught. So it's the same kind of thing. If everybody could be cheating, but it's the one team that gets caught.
Right.
But then there was another thing that somebody digged up too was that in the World Series video from 2017, you can see there's a one moment you could see that there's a right in the the tunnel there, you could see a TV, somebody taking down the TV that's a TV monitor that was set up there on a table, and you can see that they're taking it down. I guess they took it down after every game or something or whatever. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That be viewable? That's why it's kind of suspicious because how would that be viewable for the especially how would they if it's in the MLB video, official World Series video, how would MLB not notice sooner that they had that TV there, especially they after the Apple Watch incident with the Red Sox, they said that you can't have anything back there right there. It was right after you get out of the dugout.
Yeah.
You can't have anything back there. So if that was you can't do that, then how would MLB not notice that's in the video there and not come onto the sooner? It's 2 years later, so how do they not notice sooner anything? And also with Mike Fiers didn't come out until 2 years later. That's why it's kind of fishy, the whole situation. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing too. And I mean, like I said, this doesn't surprise me with the MLB because it seems like with them, with a lot of other sports too, with certain things, but it seems like the MLB with anything like this is very reactive. They're only going to do something when someone calls it out.
Yeah.
Even if they know what's going on, they're not really gonna, they're not really gonna say anything. Especially if they suspect that it's widespread. It's what are we gonna do? Punish 20 of the 30 teams? I mean, that's at least the way I look at it. I mean, I don't see. I don't know. I mean, maybe they have to relook at the rules then. I mean, let's put it this way. Should it be against the rules?
I think it should be as in using using all this technology to get in more of an advantage. Just a plain old simple stealing the sign from second base and whatever, but that should be okay. But using technology and extra cameras and whatever, I don't think that should be allowed.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Then Trevor Williams had to tweet out. It's how about we just don't use signs anymore?
Oh yeah.
The catcher doesn't know what's coming. What's coming. The pitcher doesn't know what he's going to throw. Everyone's just in the dark about it.
Yeah, that was funny. That's the other weird thing too was well, not weird, but they could the same. They were saying that the same angle that they had at center field is it's kind of similar to what national broadcasts have, and you could see on the national broadcast anyway, and they can still get the same thing from that.
True.
But even the one thing with that though is it's on delay for the broadcast is on delay, so we wouldn't really be able to steal signs anyway with that.
Right. Yeah, it's a 5-second delay or something. So I mean, that wouldn't help really. But I mean, it's from what it seems, and it's funny because in the 1951, the article I was reading, the guy did. I mean, it was a huge article. It was very long, very detailed, and he kind of went over if it actually helped the Giants, and the stats. It didn't really help them. It didn't help them at all. Their offense was better on the road than it was at home. They hit more home runs on the road. And the same thing is coming out now with the Astros. That they were talking about. I know the one thing came out with the averages went down from 17 to 18, which is interesting because they only did it that 1 year. Then they haven't they stopped doing it. They only did it 1 year. That's what I find intriguing. Also, is that they did it in 2017, but they haven't been doing it since. I mean, for God's sake, they lost all 4 games at home in the World Series this year. Like, why wouldn't you keep doing it until you got caught?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand.
Maybe it's,
Is that they did it 1 year and then they stopped? I don't understand that.
I don't know. Maybe they saw something coming, like knew they were going to get caught or something. I don't know.
Well, at that point, you're all in. I mean, honestly, you just won a World Series with the Chiefs. Like, why not just keep going with it? Just keep doing it
I don't know.
until you actually get busted. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that would be my thinking if I were in their shoes. That's what seems odd to me too. Is that they stopped? They did it for 1 year. Did they do it for the whole year? Did they do it like these are the things that they got to investigate. This is going to take a while.
And
this is going to take a while. I'm sure Major League Baseball wants to wrap this up before spring training, obviously. It's going to take a couple of months. You're not going to hear anything. You're not going to hear anything until January, February. Definitively, anyway.
The interesting thing about it is Alex Kielar was, he was the bench coach there, and now he's like in the investigation too. And it's like maybe it was something to do with him going to the Red Sox, and they thought maybe he would like tell the Red Sox what happened.
Maybe. I mean, now Beltran's the Mets manager, and he was on the team in 2017.
It's gonna be crazy if they end up getting punished. Like, I don't know what the Mets are gonna do if he gets punished or something. Like, he gets suspended for whatever, half a season or whatever.
Yeah, well, you wonder if they'll do anything to the players too. I mean, you can't look. Major League Baseball is not gonna erase. I see people talking about them taking away the World Series. It's not happening. That's not happening. You can't go down that road because that's too much. You're not taking championships. So this isn't college. You're not taking championships away. You're not vacating wins. No. You don't do that in professional sports. That's not going to happen. I can guarantee. I'll bet my life on that it's not going to happen. They're not going to take away the World Series championship from the 17 Astros.
And then, even if you do,
if they haven't put asterisks on other things, I mean, they talked about it back in '61 when Maris hit 61 home runs. Well, he did it in 8 more games.
Yeah.
They didn't put an asterisk then on that record. And it was clear because after 154 games, Maris only had 59.
Mm-hmm.
So if they didn't put an asterisk on that, and they haven't put an asterisk on all these records and all these things of the PED users that were caught, they're not taking away a championship just because someone was relaying signs. It's not happening. It's not happening. And I think people who think that's a possibility are blowing this way out of proportion. It's not like the Astros. First of all, it's not like the Astros hit 450 at home and scored like 18 runs off the Dodgers. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, granted, maybe it helped here and there, but it's not like it gave them a distinct advantage. The series still went 7 games. Like, it's not like it made such a huge difference. Yes, you're always looking for that slight edge that may give you that 1 game or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, the fact that it didn't give them a huge edge. It's not proven yet. We'll see what the investigation holds and what it comes out with. And the fact that Major League Baseball has always been reticent to take away any kinds of records or put asterisks or anything like that, there is no way that they're taking away that championship. Not happening.
Yeah, and like the other thing with that is if you take it away, what is it, you just have no championship for that year because you can't give it to the Dodgers. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. Like, if you
it would be like 1994.
Oh yeah,
play the playoffs. Like, you would just take away. I don't know, like, but then what happens is, like, you just vacate the champ. Like, you can't do that. You just can't do that in professional sports. No. It's just, I don't know. It just never happens. I mean, they haven't done it in any sport. I mean, obviously they found out that the Patriots with the Spygate thing in the 2001 Super Bowl, they didn't take away their championship, did they?
No.
How about all the steroid users that were actually tested positive? I mean, Manny Ramirez got caught twice, and he was on 2 championship teams with the Red Sox. Just because of one player, you're going to take away their championships. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, A-Rod's a steroid user. Andy Pettit admitted using it. Like, I mean, you're going to take away, like, any team that had a steroid guy on it, you're going to take away their championship because maybe their stats, maybe they should have been suspended, so maybe they shouldn't have played. And then you can't start going down that road. Because then it leads to too much other stuff. It's a slippery slope at that point. So you can't just take it. The best they can do, well, you know, the biggest thing they can do as far as a punishment is take away draft picks, their international bonus money, like the pool money, and stuff like that. I mean, that's really look what they did to the Braves last year. With all those that finagling they did down in Dominican Republic and stuff, they actually took away like 6 or 8 guys that they signed from those countries or through that agency or whatever it may have been. I forget the exact details. You know, they banned the GM. They got, you know, they really hamstrung them. So they could do something similar to the Astros.
Yeah.
Take away their first three rounds the next 3 years. And you take away their international pool money. So they can't sign anyone internationally. Do that for a few years. I mean, that's basically what they did to the Braves. But as punishment for messing with the international pool money and stuff like that. I don't remember the exact details. It was either last year or the year before. But they got the one big guy was Kevin Maitan, who actually wound up on the Angels now.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was taken with the Braves, went down and signed him to 16 years old, and they signed him to like a $2 million bonus or something. And the thing was, they were making deals with like Maitan's agent down in like Cuba or whatever it was, or Puerto Rico. I forget where he's from exactly. I think it was Dominican Republic, but they were making deals with like the agency down there and being like, well, we can only give him this much money of our pool money, but we'll throw some of it your way on the side if you make sure he signs with us. That's basically what they were doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of extortion, so to speak, you know. So bribery, whatever you want to call it, but that's basically what they were doing. They're like, we can only give him $1 million in international money, but under the table, we could throw his mom like $500,000 and throw the agent $500,000 and stuff like that, as long as he signs with it. So it was shit like that they were doing, which is pretty underhanded. So I'm glad they got punished like that. But I'm just saying that's the type of punishment that the Astros could get.
Yeah, so all this has been, you know, it's made it exciting offseason so far. After the last offseason being like so slow, this offseason's already been pretty exciting. And then,
yeah, we've already had a free agent signing.
Yeah,
so
we are.
leading to next, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Will Smith to
the Braves, and then
Braves.
3 years?
3 or 39 with a 4th-year option.
Yeah. So that'll definitely help the Braves bullpen out.
Yeah, they need it. They definitely need it.
Yeah.
Because their bullpen was not good. Their pitching in general was not very good. Their starting staff was decent thanks to Tehran being the rock there, and then Soroka, you know, finished what? He finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have some promise there, but their bullpen was a dumpster fire last year. But they had a lot of injuries too. I mean, Vizcaino got hurt. The kid Minter got hurt. They had a few guys that were banged up. And other guys that just didn't perform. I mean, they threw Sean Newcomb. Looks like he might be a nice piece in the bullpen because they moved him to the bullpen after he wasn't doing well as a starter, and he pitched fairly well for them. I think he's actually better suited for the bullpen.
Yeah.
big lefty, throws hard, but he's got two pitches basically that he can command. He's never really developed that third pitch. And he's the guy they got from the Angels for Andrelton Simmons a couple years ago, the first-round pick. But he just never – they thought he'd be a workhorse, a big dude. You know, he was in like the John Lester mold, like, you know. But it just doesn't seem like he has the command of control to anything other than his fastball and his curveball to make any kind of impact as a starter. So maybe it'll become like an Andrew Miller type, Josh Hader type. You know what I mean?
He could, yeah.
He can go out of the bullpen for 2 innings, pitch the 6th and the 7th, that type of thing. Just let it all fly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so speaking of these free agents, we can, get going into our talking about the offseason, how, predicting some of these, where these guys go. So we got the top 15 free agents. Garrett Cole, well, this is according to MLB.com. Top 15 are Garrett Cole, Anthony Rendon, Steven Strasburg, Zach Wheeler, Madison Bumgarner, Jim Ryu, Yasmani Grandal, Josh Donaldson, Marcelo Zuna, Nick Castellanos, Jake Odorizzi, Dallas Keuchel, Mike Moustakas, Didi Gregorius, and Cole Hamels. Those are the top 15.
Well, Odorizzi's off the board. He accepted the qualifying offer.
Oh, did he? I didn't.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was actually surprised too. But yeah, he took they gave him the qualifying offer, and he actually took it. So he's on the 1-year deal for qualifying offer this year is about 17.8.
Oh, okay.
Which I was kind of surprised he took it because he had like a career year this year. Career high in strikeouts, as far as strikeouts per 9. He had a 3.51 ERA, which was excellent. I think he had 15 wins. He pitched great. He pitched great for the Twins this year. And at 29 years old, I thought he'd want to go out there and see, hey, maybe I can get a nice 5-year, $100 million deal. But I don't know. I think from what he said, because I read an interview with him, he said that he really had to think about it. And honestly, he said he liked Minnesota and he felt that he could improve even more. So, hey, it's good I'm fine with that for the Twins. Hey, if he can have another great year, even better. That's great. Maybe we can work out a long-term extension with him this year. If he's pitching well, I think it's what the Twins should do. Because like I said, he's only 29. I think he turns 30 beginning of the year next year. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd be fine with the Twins signing him 3 years at 25 a year. I mean, if he's going to put a low 3s ERA with 10 strikeouts per 9, and he limits the home runs too, surprisingly enough. He had like 0.6 home runs per 9. Like, he was great. So, I mean, that's great for the Twins.
Yeah, definitely good because they can definitely use the pitching for sure there.
Yeah. So you want to run down the list? Or do you want to talk about our teams?
Yeah, we can run down the list here just to, top whatever, top 10.
Yeah.
So starting with Garrett Cole, I think, speaking of my team, the Yankees, I think the Yankees I think they're going to make a splash. They have to. They haven't done it in years. They haven't done it with starting pitching in years. They haven't been willing to, go that extra whatever amount of money they fell short from. They fell short from Corbin last year. Well, obviously the Nationals kind of overpaid last year for Corbin, which is why the Yankees didn't get him because they offered Corbin, but they just didn't want the years that the Nationals were giving them. So they didn't. I think this year they're gonna go all in for Cole. I think they get it done. I think it'll be around 7-year, 275, somewhere along the lines of that. And I think they're due for get a starter like Cole. Like Cole, they've been wanting him for ever since he's come out of high school. They drafted him out of high school, but then he ended up going to UCLA.
Yep.
And then they also tried to trade for him, obviously, when he was getting traded from the Pirates, but the Astros got him. So I think this year they're going to go all in for him, and I think it's time for them to have a true ace on their team. So I think it's what happens. And then Anthony Rendon, I'm saying I think he's going to re-sign with the Nats. I think the Nats just need a bat like him on the team. I think they'll do it. They'll pay him the money and they'll get him back. And I'm just gonna give the teams for everything else. I don't feel like picking out the years and the money for it. So, but the Steven Strasburg, I think he goes home to San Diego. I think the Padres get him. I think it's just it'd be quite the story for him to win the World Series, win the MVP, and then go home San Diego. And Padres, I think he'd be really good with the Padres too. Like they already have like all these young guys coming up for the rotation. I think he would be like the guy they need there to make it even stronger. I think they're contend next year. This year they did all right, but I think they're the next step. I think they'll take the next step next year, and I think they'll contend for a wild card. Potentially make it in. Maybe even they maybe even get close to the Dodgers, but I don't think they'll get that close. But they might. Maybe they'll finish second in that division, possibly. Let's see, Zach Wheeler. I don't know. Not sure where maybe he'll go. I'm gonna say he goes to the. I'm actually gonna say he goes to the Phillies. I think even though obviously that's a division rival of the Mets, so I think the Phillies, they need starters there. I think he's not a Garrett Cole, but he's definitely a good option available there. I think he's a guy that they can use for sure, and I think they'll go for him, and he can definitely give them what they need there in that rotation. Matt, I think Bumgarner. I think he's going to go to your Twins. That's what I'm predicting. He's going to go to the Twins.
Mm.
I think they obviously they brought Odorizzi back, but I think they still might need one more starter. And he's obviously not the same starter he used to be, but I think he can give them something. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I wouldn't mind Bumgarner in Minnesota, actually. I mean, I understand he's got a lot of mileage on the arm. All the playoffs they made, the deep playoff runs, the 3 World Series, and how much he pitched and everything like that. But Bumgarner still throws 200 innings. And, yeah, he had 3.9 ERA in a pitcher's park. I get it and everything. And he's not the same pitcher he was maybe a few years ago. But he still was only 30 years old.
Yeah.
And he still has a few good years. Now, I would have no problem with the Twins signing him. I just don't want them to give him max 3 years.
No.
Max.
Yeah.
I would try to get him for a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option. But I don't know. I think he's going to want 4 years, 5 years. And that's the problem. And I don't think the Twins should do that.
Mm.
They may, but I don't think they should.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Twins are going to go after Wheeler.
Mm. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. And they might, yeah.
But they'd also like a lefty in that rotation. And that's why, not to interrupt like the top 10 or whatever, but I honestly think they could go. If I had to predict, I think they're going to go after Wheeler and Keuchel.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely.
Because Keuchel's proven he could pitch. He's a playoff pitcher too. He's proven he can pitch in the playoffs. Granted, he doesn't. Bumgarner has ridiculous stats in the playoffs, but whatever. But Keuchel's proven he could pitch in the playoffs. He's pitched against the Yankees and stuff like that. And I think that the Twins see. This is the thing, and I wrote up in the article that's going to be published tomorrow. This is the time for the Twins to strike. Mm-hmm. Because, look, they won 100 games for only the 2nd time in their history. They made it to the playoffs. Of course, we faced your Yankees. That's our kryptonite. And we got swept.
Yeah.
All right. We weren't ready for prime time, honestly. But with Berrios and Odorizzi at the top, if we can get a Wheeler and a Keuchel, I have no problem with that. We have a bunch of other young guys that I touched on in the article too. Brustar, Gratterall, Fernando Romero, Steven Gonsalves, even Smeltzer and Dobnak, who pitched last year, a bunch of other starters who can fill that fifth role. But the Twins are going into this with basically $85 million on the books. Luxury tax is $208. Now, granted, the Twins are a cheap team, so they're not going to $208. But to go to $150, $160, I think this is the time to do it. The Indians are taking a step back.
Yeah.
They don't have Bauer anymore. Kluber's a year older, coming off injury. You don't know what's up with Carrasco. And I love Carrasco. Don't get me wrong. This is the one thing is like, I like actually some of the Indians players, even though they're a division rival. I love Tito Francona. He's a great manager. I love Frankie Lindor, best shortstop in baseball. You know, like stuff like that. And with Carrasco, with the leukemia and stuff like that, you know, I wish him all the best. You know, I hope he comes back and pitches great. But basically at this point, if Kluber doesn't come back strong, they still have a solid staff with Clevenger, Carrasco, and Bieber. But other than that, they don't have much of a lineup. Mm-hmm. And I said this last year going in, and this was the problem for the Indians because Kluber got hurt, and then they wound up trading Bauer. Clevenger missed some time, and they only were out of the division by, 5 games they finished behind the Twins? I mean, if those guys were healthy all year, they would have definitely been there. Mm-hmm. But this is the time for the Twins to strike because the White Sox are rebuilding. Yes, they may be decent next year depending on the moves, and they have money to spend, so they may make some moves. But the Tigers and Royals are garbage. They're starting to rebuild. They're nowhere close to contending at all. So this is the time. This is the window for the Twins right now. The Indians going down. White Sox coming up a little bit, and the Royals and Tigers probably 2-3 years away easily. These next few years of where the Twins got to do it. That's why you need to go out and get 2 starters, sign them for 3, 4, 5 years. They sell a Berrios controlled for the next 3 years, or to reach into the qualifying offer. If we're going to work on an extension for another 3 years and sign a guy like Wheeler for 4 and Keuchel for 3, there's your staff for the next 3 years.
It's a good staff.
We know the Twins lineup is fine. It's not like they can't hit. So that's not an issue. Mm-hmm. That's what they need. They need 2 starters. I'm not under any delusions that they're going to get Cole or Strasburg because they're not going to spend that kind of money.
No.
But someone like a Bumgarner or a Wheeler, Keuchel, guys like that, I can see it.
Yeah, so continuing with my predictions here, I think Ryu goes to I think he re-signs with the Dodgers. He wants, he would prefer re-signing with them. I think they want him back. He finished runner-up for the Cy Young. So I think he's a pitcher that you definitely want back, and especially if he prefers to go there, he might take a discount to come back. So I think he'll re-sign there, and then Grandal. He had a really good season last year. A lot of teams could use kind of a player like him. I don't know. Where do you think he goes? Because I'm not sure. I don't know.
Grandal's kind of tough. Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, overall, considering fielding and everything like that, I honestly think he's probably the second best catcher in the majors behind JT. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got power. He's a switch hitter. Takes his walks. He's an excellent fielder. And he bet on himself this year because he took the 1-year deal from Milwaukee, and it worked. Because honestly, I think he's going to get a lot of money. And but I just don't know. Who's going to pay him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like we talk about our teams, the Yankees have Sanchez. They're not going to go after Grandal. Although they probably should pay Grandal and put Sanchez at first and then move on from the other guys. But
yeah, I mean, Romine is going to be a free agent now. So
yeah, it was too clogged up there. I think, as far as first base, catcher, DH, I think I think any team could use Grandal, but again, with the Twins, Mitch Garver coming out last year with the 31 home runs and improving considerably his defense. I don't see them going after Grandal because they know damn well that the main issue is starting staff. So,
Yeah.
I could see Houston going after him.
Yeah.
I mean, who's Houston after? I mean, they have Maldonado. And who was their other catcher they had there? Chirinos.
Oh yeah, Chirinos.
I mean, Houston go after Grandal. I could see it. If they're not going to pay Cole,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't surprise me. I could also see Milwaukee bringing him back.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of teams that could go after Grandal, though. I mean, I just don't know. You know, teams with young catchers probably won't, but the Dodgers won't because that kid Will Smith really stepped up. They still have Boston Barnes. Hedges was real good for San Diego this year. I think the Mets still have Wilson Ramos for one more year, although Grandal is a definite upgrade from that. But don't think they worry about pitching as much. Yeah. I don't know where Grandal goes. But if I had to guess, I'd say, honestly, he stays in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I think they keep him there. And they give him the long-term deal. They gave him the one-year deal. He played well. Why not keep him there? Depending on all the internal stuff, too. I mean, how did Grandal catch the pitchers? Did the pitchers like throwing to him? Blah, blah, blah. You never know with all the emotions, like that, all that type of thing. But, you know, as far as talent-wise, like I said, overall, I think Grandal is the second-best catcher in the majors.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. Yeah, I think a lot of teams are going to go after him, but I could definitely see the Brewers bringing him back. But next up, Josh Donaldson. This is definitely a lot of teams could use him, and I know the Braves. I could see the Braves even bringing him back for maybe a year. But my prediction actually going to be the Phillies. I think Frank. He had like a pretty bad season last year. I think they could definitely use an upgrade at third base. Josh Donaldson, after last year he had kind of a breakout year. He came back. He came back and had such a great season, and definitely Phillies could definitely use him. I don't know if if the money gets too much, they wouldn't pay him because they already have Harper's contracts on their payroll. So I don't know if they would go too far, but if it's for cheap, then I definitely could see them bringing him in.
Yeah, well, I don't think Donaldson's going to come cheap. I think he's going to want this last multi-year contract. I mean, he's in his mid-30s. He is coming back from injury. He had a great year. But Atlanta, you got to remember, Atlanta threw $23 million at him last year. He made a lot of money last year on a one-year prove-it deal. And he proved it. He proved it, no doubt. I mean, we forget Donaldson was a 2015 MVP. You know, it's not that far removed from that. So if he's healthy, he is an excellent player.
Yeah.
And I could see the Phillies moving on from Maikel Franco. I mean, they've had this guy at third base for the better part of 4 or 5 years. I mean, and he never became what they thought he was going to become. You know, Donaldson's still a very good fielder at third, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see the Phillies doing that. I could see the Phillies doing that. I could also see the Mets going after him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what did the Mets have at third? Todd Frazier? Jed Lowry? I mean, what are they doing at third base? McNeil has been playing left. You don't know what kind of Cespedes you're going to get if he ever comes back. You own a Cespedes, the Mets version of Jacoby Ellsbury at this point.
Yeah.
So who knows with that?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, any other team. I mean, third base is so deep. That's the thing. A lot of teams have good third basemen.
Mm-hmm.
Just the position alone is very good. You know, would I love to see the Twins get him? Yeah, he'd just be another bat in the lineup. But like I said, I know they're not going to spend the money that way because they already have Sano.
Yeah.
2 more years before he hits free agency. And Sano put a beating on the ball last year. Can he play third? Nah, not that great. But, you know, he's controllable for the next 2 years. He's only in arbitration still. So they're not going to go out and pay Donaldson $20 million a year for the next 3 years.
Wow.
And obviously, you know, teams like the Astros, the A's have Chapman. You know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can see the Angels.
Yeah,
I can see the Angels doing it. Although they're another team that needs pitching.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Then again, that could be said for every team. I guess you could say that for every team. Every team could use a starter. I mean, you know, you never have too many.
Yeah. I saw actually. I was researching earlier about the free agents, and there was a lot of articles were predicting Cole to the Angels, which was kind of surprising to me. Like they still have pools to pay. You know, they had big contract to Trout, so I don't know if I feel like they wouldn't pay. I don't think they would go all out for Cole.
Well, the thing with the Angels is they have the money.
Yeah.
They have money to spend. They can go up to the luxury tax. Like they're one of those teams that has no problem spending the money because they have before. Pujols comes off in 2 years.
Yeah.
He's only got 2 more years left on his deal. Trout is Trout. You pay him what you pay him. That's the best player in baseball. So you got to pay the guy the 35, 40, whatever he makes. You know what I mean? That's a no-brainer. I mean, I think Justin Upton comes off the books in a couple of years too. They got the kid Joe Adell coming up in the outfield. Yeah, and Drelton Simmons, who is the best fielding shortstop, probably top 5 all time at this point. I mean, you look at his fielding metrics, he's just ridiculous. He's Ozzie Smith, modern day Ozzie Smith. He's ridiculous. If you put Donaldson at third, you just get another bat there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to figure Ohtani's going to do his thing this year. I mean, they could use that extra bat. Definitely. I mean, granted, they do need the starters, unfortunately, after Skaggs this year and everything. But, I mean, you know, they have Andrew Heaney, who was pretty solid last year when he stays healthy. You know, the problem with the Angels staff is, like, they don't stay healthy. You know, they had Schumacher a couple of years ago. He couldn't stay healthy. He had 1 good year. Garrett Richards couldn't stay healthy. He had 1 good year. Like, they just can't keep these guys healthy. You know, so I think pitching is going to be a large part of it. But if they can get someone like Donaldson on a decent deal, especially in the American League, where they know if he starts to break down at the end of a long-term deal, like if they give him the 3 years, maybe even 4, if he starts to break down, they can DH him when Ohtani's not DH him. So, I mean, at least that's an option. It's not an option the Braves had last year. So at least there's that. But yeah, the Angels, I think, are going to go all in on a starter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I don't know if the Yankees get Cole. Because I think, like you said about Corbin last year, the Nationals overpaid. I think someone's going to overpay for Cole.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I mean, I'm looking at 8 years, $300 million.
Yeah, that's what the Yankees. I don't think they're going to go to $300 million. That's why. So. I
don't think they'll go 8 years either.
Yeah, they wouldn't go 8 years. They would probably 7 years. I think 7 years is the cutoff for them.
Yeah, 7 years will be even pushing it. I think 6 years will be their max because Corbin only got 6 years.
Yeah,
but Corbin also only had 1 good year going into that contract. Cole's been good for a while, you know. And like you said, the Yankees drafted him out of high school. He didn't sign. He went to college, you know, and everything. But I just think there's going to be such a massive push for Cole that all it takes is one team to go nuts with the checkbook. That's all it takes. I mean, look what the Red Sox did with Price. You know, look at the money they gave him. Look what the Diamondbacks did with Greinke. Opened up that checkbook. Yeah, 33 million a year, no problem. So you're looking at with Cole, you're looking at 35 million a year, without a doubt. So if that's the case, and someone's willing to give him 8 years at 35, that's 280.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Yankees are going to go the 8 year. I just don't think they're going to go the length. And if someone offers him 8 years, 300, I don't think Cashman does it. And I don't blame him. To be honest with you, I wouldn't blame Cashman. No matter what the fans say, you got to remember something. If Cashman signs him for 8 years, 300 million, and in 4 years he winds up looking like a Deke Arabu, then they're all going to bitch about Cashman. Why'd you give him all these years? Why'd you give him you know what I mean? You can't win one way or the other. So
that's the Yankees Twitter for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I lived down in New Jersey. I listened to a lot of New York radio when I was growing up and stuff. Mike and the Mad Dog when they were together and everything like that. And yeah, I know all the callers and stuff. I get it. New York media is rough, man.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I think someone's going to overpay for Cole, and I don't think the Yankees are going to do it. I just don't. He'll go somewhere like the Angels or the Padres.
Yeah, I was thinking the Padres.
Cole and Strasburg.
That would be crazy.
I agree with you with Strasburg, though, what you were saying before. I could see him going there. I also could see him going back to the Nationals.
Yeah, definitely.
Scott Boras has a very good relationship with Mike Rizzo there. Now, it didn't work out with Harper because I honestly think Harper took more control of that than Boras was control of. Mm-hmm. I think Harper honestly wanted – because he wanted the no opt-outs. He wanted to go somewhere where he spend the rest of his career. And – I felt that, Boras, to me, just the way Boras works, and I just think that went against what Boras was doing. And I think Boras was kind of like, all right, I'm just going to get the offers for you. And when the initial offer from Nationals to Harper, from what was said, was 10 years, 300. I think when Harper got the offer from the Phillies for 13 years at 330, I think he wanted that. I just think he just wanted that security for 13 years and go somewhere, and that's it. Mm. I think he overrode Boras, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think Boras has such a good relationship with Mike Rizzo. I think the Nationals bring back either Strasburg or Rendon. I think they bring back one of them.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But I could also see what you said, Strasburg going home to San Diego. I mean, he grew up there. He went to San Diego State. I could see that. And San Diego's got a nice little pitching staff there. Yeah. He could be the veteran over there with the World Series experience and everything like that. And you got to remember the last 2 years. 2 years ago, they signed Hosmer to an 8-year deal, which was kind of silly. Yeah. But anyway, and they signed Machado last year. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're not trying to win. Yeah. So you got to think this year they're going to have that one big contract in them to go get somebody. Whether it's Strasburg or even Rendon at third to play next to Tatis for the next 7 years. I mean, I don't know, but I could see it either way. But I think the Nationals keep one of them. I don't think they both walk. I think Rizzo is going to try to hang on to one of them. Mm-hmm. I don't know who else we had in there.
We got Nick Castellanos. I don't know. It's tough with him. He might go. I could see him going back to the Cubs. So.
Yeah, I could see that too. I could also. I mean, I think he liked it there because he hit well there when he got traded to Detroit. I mean, it was obvious he wanted out of Detroit. He talked about the park and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if they bring him back only because he's not a good fielder at all.
Yeah.
No matter where you put him. And I wonder if he's better suited in the American League. Mm-hmm. I was thinking possibly the Indians.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sign him. Play a little outfield. Because he's played out there now. I mean, he came up as a third baseman. Maybe just like god awful at third base. Mm-hmm. They were better off putting Miguel Cabrera back over there at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him going to the Indians. They need a bat other than, Lindor, Jose Ramirez, and Santana. They got, nothing else. I mean, Mercado is decent this year, but, Kipnis is on his last leg. They don't have much else as far as the bat. Roberto Perez behind a plate a decent year for a catcher. But they could use another power bat there. So I could see them getting Castellanos. Throw him in the outfield because their outfield is horrible too. Okay. So I mean, someone like him, even if his defense isn't that great, you throw him in right field.
Yeah,
it's about like play in Cleveland.
Mm. Next was Keuchel. You mentioned the Twins maybe getting him. I could see that for sure. Maybe the Phillies. Phillies are a possibility.
Yeah, I think the Phillies will definitely be in on a starter.
Yeah, they should be.
The Brewers should be too.
Oh yeah, Brewers.
And they're another team that should be in on this whole, Keuchel, Bumgarner. The reason I say the Brewers and Phillies especially, I could see, is because Keuchel's a ground ball pitcher, and the home run parks, Philly and Milwaukee play for the home run. And having a lefty that can actually keep the righties in the ballpark is a big thing. Keuchel at this point is probably a number 3.
Yeah.
He's not a number 1 or 2, obviously. But, if you get a number 3 that can throw you 200 innings, 180 to 200 innings, and keep the ERA below 4, I think you're solid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's definitely something both teams will look at. Same thing with Bumgarner. I think Bumgarner can fit in either place, too. I think Bumgarner and Keuchel are kind of – I'd take Bumgarner over Keuchel, to be honest, at this point, but not by much. Not by much. I think they're similar. Keuchel's a little older, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Bumgarner's 29, 30 years old. You feel like he's been around forever.
I feel like it's been so long.
Yeah, it's crazy.
With Keuchel, I'm sure he's hoping it's not like last offseason.
Yeah, that's another thing, too. I mean, he went through that, He went through all that last year. Didn't sign till, the middle of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's going to want to, I think that affected him last year, too. Okay. I mean, I think he's going to want to get moving.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, sign a 1-year deal. Sign a prove-it deal.
Mm-hmm.
Sign a 1-year deal with Philly. Pitch well. Then go get your last contract. Go get your last multi-year deal. Go out and get a 3-year deal or whatever. But it's tough. That's why I was looking at Odorizzi when he took the qualifying offer. I kind of understand why he did. I mean, it is $17.8 million. So, I mean, it's not like he's not getting paid. But he is 29, so he's got another year. He'll be 30. Okay, fine. But also, to look at the free agent class. Look at the pitchers we just talked about. Strasburg, Ryu, Cole, Keuchel, Bumgarner. Where does Odorizzi fit in there?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get the dregs of, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's going against these guys, basically, in free agency. He's going up against it. Guys are going to be looking at that. Whereas next year, probably a different story.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a college guy. You look at, say, college football. Am I going to come out this year? What's my draft stock like? Well, if I come out and I'm a second, third round pick because there are 4 other quarterbacks that are much better, seen as better than I am, or maybe I should stay in college, try to win some games, and then put myself in a better, position. That's why a lot of pitchers, like a Garrett Cole, drafted later by the Yankees out of high school. Now I'm going to go to college for a few years, refine my stuff, and maybe become a first pick.
Yeah.
in a few years. So, maybe that's the Odorizzi was thinking. That's part of his thinking. It's like, look at this free agent pitching class. Where's the money going to be for me once these guys sign? Either that or he's going to have to jump on a deal that maybe he doesn't want because he wants to get the money before teams spend the money on the big guys. Whereas next year he's looking at and saying, well, not as much talent out there next year. Maybe if I put together a good year this year, I can go out and make a little more money for myself.
Yeah.
So I can't blame the guy. I understand his thinking. I'm happy for my Twins to get him back. Because I was hoping they would re-sign him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who's out there?
What?
I don't know who else was out there. I can't think of any other.
Yeah, well,
Zuna, I think you mentioned too.
Yeah, Ozuna.
He's someone I could see the Indians looking at too.
I was about to mention that too.
They need outfield help.
Yeah, they definitely do. And I was going to mention Didi Gregorius too. I think I was thinking I think the Yankees might re-sign him back. Just kind of maybe might be more of a team-friendly deal because last year obviously he was injured, coming back from the Tommy John surgery. He didn't have that great of a season, but obviously that big home run against Grand Slam against your Twins. That was such a good Grand Slam, and I was at the game. It was awesome. It was an awesome moment. He's just the presence that he has too on the team. Like I think he's such a good locker room. Clubhouse presence. And I think they want somebody like that on their team. So I think they'll sign him back, and they could obviously still have him at short, still have Labor at second, and then probably put LeMayo at first most of the time, I would think.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that is kind of weird about the Yankees is that if they sign Gregorius back, they're going to put him at short. They're going to move Glaber back to second and move LeMahieu to first, which is probably their worst defensive infield. I mean, Glaber should be playing in short, and LeMahieu should be at second. Yeah. If you want your best defensive infield, Glaber's a better shortstop than Didi is.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying, and I think that Didi will take a 1-year prove-it deal because he's another one that's young. He's still only 29. 28, 29. Like, he's not that old. It feels like he's been around for a long time, but I think they do bring him back. Just like I think they bring back Gardner again.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I can't see Brett Gardner going anywhere.
No. It'll probably be like a 1-year deal too.
Yeah. I mean, I think Didi will take the 1 year to stay in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you got to remember too, if you go to free agency, you don't know what teams are going to want you.
Yeah.
Are they going to want you as a stopgap for like a young stud coming up, and you're only going to play 1 year there, and then you got to go through this again? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not have a chance because it's a rebuilding team. Like, are the White Sox going to offer him money? Or the Tigers going to offer him money? You know what I mean? Where do you go? Like, he's with the Yankees. He's been with the Yankees for a couple of years now, and they have a chance to win the World Series. So if they turn around and offer him a 1-year deal for $8 million, why not take it? Prove yourself. Stay in a place where you could possibly win a ring. And then move on from there next year, then, whatever happens. If he has a great year, then go out and get your 5-year deal. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Another showed already this year with the infield especially, is like you can never have too much depth, man.
No, definitely not.
You need the depth. I give Cashman all the credit for signing the guys he signed.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out. I mean, you can't give Cashman was smart enough to sign these guys, but you also got to give the players the credit.
Yeah.
I mean, LeMahieu had a really good year. I mean, he had a career year. So did Urshela. I mean, those two guys like outplayed what anyone thought they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like anything else, you know. When the players play well, it looks good on the manager and the GM. When they play like crap, it looks bad on them.
Yeah.
You know, someone gets the blame.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I can see Didi coming back for a year.
Yeah, another thing I was going to mention too was like with Urshela, if it's just next year Andujar comes back too, so it's kind of a tough spot there because you know with Andujar's defense, you can't really play him at third anyway. But it's like, so I don't know if they put him at Andujar at DH a lot of the time or what they do. And then you take DH away from Stanton, and then so it's kind of a weird situation there. Like, well,
who knows what Hicks is going to be?
Yeah. That's the thing too. Like,
plays center.
Hicks can stay healthy.
That's the thing. Who plays center? You can't keep putting Gardner. You tell me you put Gardner in center? Tauchman?
No. Yeah.
I mean, Stanton should be in left.
Mm-hmm.
Stanton should be playing left field, and he should. Obviously, if everything goes well, Stanton's in left, Hicks is in center, and the Judge is in right. And personally, I think you have Voit at first, LeMahieu at second, Torres at short, Urshela at third, and Sanchez behind the plate and Andujar DH.
Yeah, that would be good.
That's my lineup. But if you sign Didi back, I mean, do you try Andujar at first? Do you try to trade? I mean, I honestly think they're going to try to package Andujar and Frazier.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
You know,
even Florial, because I don't like Florial was so hyped up about being such a big prospect, but now he's kind of fallen off. He's like fell all the way down from like 1 to now he's like 13, I think.
Yeah, I said it last year.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Florial a lot, and I watched some video of him. I don't like his swing at all. I just don't think he's going to hit.
Yeah, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy either.
You know what he is? He's a left-handed Byron Buxton.
Yeah.
Can field, can run everything down in center field, speed up the ass. He's actually got more power than Buxton. Not the plate discipline Buxton had in the minors, but the holes in the swing.
Yeah.
Unless he fixes it, he's not going to hit. It's just not going to hit. And the fielding and defense is great. But I'm sorry. If you're only getting on base, if you're getting on base less than 30% of the time, there's issues here.
Yeah.
You can't be in a major league lineup. I mean, unless you're Billy Hamilton. Just like, what? I don't know how he still finds a job everywhere, but whatever. I guess defense and speed does work, but you know,
he should be like a permanent pinch runner.
Yeah, he's an incredible fielder too, though. Like that's the thing. But he hits 220.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame too because with his speed, I mean, if he could have gotten on base at like a 350 clip, man, that dude would stole 70 bases, 80 bases a year. You just can't get on base. You know, Buxton's the same thing. Buxton, you know, is so frustrating. You know, first overall pick out of high school. Granted, they take a long time to develop. He's had so many injuries and so many problems hitting the ball. You know, I looked at Buxton when he was coming out. I said this a few years ago. When he was coming up, I looked at Buxton as another Andrew McCutchen. That's the way I looked at him. Andrew McCutchen with a little more power. That's the way I looked at him. And he just never panned out. Now, granted, but it's funny thing is, Buxton's still only 25 years old. So, I mean, it's not like he can't. But I look at Buxton now as like a Carlos Gomez. You know, came up, and with speed, power combo, blah, blah, blah. Keon Broxton, another guy, speed, power combo. like and everything. Just never put it together. Domingo Santana. What did he do last year with Seattle? Tore it up for the first couple of weeks and then back down to earth again. So some of these guys, they have all the talent in the world, all the athletic ability in the world. They just can't make the adjustments at the major league level. It takes a special kind of player to be able to hit at a major league level. You can be big, you can be 6'3", 220, built like a linebacker, and run like a gazelle. Can't hit the ball, it doesn't matter. And that's what a lot of these guys are. They're athletes, but they just don't have the pitch recognition and the hand-eye coordination. You know, it shows.
Yeah.
Shows itself in the majors. So, I mean, you can go over and over all the busts that have been, like, you know, these guys with all this talent and just never did anything.
That's why I kind of find it stupid to even like rank these guys like so early, like in the prospect rankings, like especially like if they're signed at like 16 years old. Like, well, the Yankees just signed Jason Dominguez. He's only 16. They already ranked him like third. He's like their third prospect, which is like he hasn't proven anything. He hasn't even done anything in minor leagues yet or anything. So it's like I would wait till he actually does anything at like any level to actually like rank him.
Well, we all know they love their prospects.
Yeah.
You know. But you know what it is? That's what it comes with. It comes with scouting. And it comes with, you don't know what is in a guy's head either. You don't know how, I mean, they all go to the cages. They all take batting practice. They all take fielding practice. They all do this. And I love when they say these guys, oh, this guy's got such a great work ethic. Unless it's something above and beyond, they all work. It's not that like they're all not trying to make those millions of dollars. Like they all work the same. I just can't stand that whole the work ethic thing because they all have work ethic. They didn't get to this point. I mean, yes, I understand it's natural talent, and the work ethic part does come into play when you get to the big leagues, when you get to the upper echelon, even AA, AAA. Like when you start getting to the higher levels, it does take a little extra work, but. I feel like 99% of them work at it.
Yeah.
You know, and I agree with you to a point. Like someone like a 16-year-old like Jason Dominguez, like, yeah, he's got all the talent in the world. Let's not throw him in the prospect list. Give him a couple years. You know, and it is a little too much. And that's why a lot of these, like I said, that's why a lot of these prospects bust. A lot of it's not just injuries. A lot of it's just they get to the higher levels and they can't do it. You know, I know when I played in like high school and stuff like that, like it was like, yeah, could hit a little bit, you know, had a good glove and stuff like that. But I got to college, I couldn't hit for shit. You know, it's just when you move up levels, stuff gets tougher.
Yeah.
But I like that MLB's got a lot of young players. There was a dearth there. There was like a dip there. I was looking at it in one of the chats I'm in. I was looking at the Hall of Fame ballots coming out the next few years. There's like nobody.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all these guys that retired in 2015, 16, 17 that are going to come up on the ballot in the next few years. There's like nothing.
No.
There's like not really, maybe one guy. Maybe there's like next year, I think it's like Tim Hudson's probably the best guy. The year after that, Carlos Beltran comes up. And it's like John Lackey. Like, I mean, it's like guys like that. Like, it's like, what? So I'm hoping these next few years they clear out the ballot a little bit. Because this year it's really just Derek Jeter.
Yeah, that's
Bobby Abreu is on the ballot this year. Personally, I would vote for him. Not this year on his first ballot, but because there are too many players there. But if you ever looked at Bobby Abreu's stats, a dude was pretty good, man. He was damn good.
Yeah.
If you ever take a look at his stats, I know he played for the Yankees for a couple of years.
Yeah, I liked him when he was there.
He was really 288 career home runs, 400 stolen bases. I think his slash line was like 290, 390, and 500. 1,400 runs, 1,300 ribbies. Walked over 100 times, like 10 seasons. Dude was a stud, man. Career WAR was 60. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, but yeah, this year is just Jeter. Yeah. As far as coming on about, that's like automatic.
Yeah. I'll be at the ceremony again.
Oh, you going this year?
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah, next year. But yeah, because I went to the Mo one too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Mo was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'm glad he got it unanimously. I really am. Because he's one of those players that is the best at his position, undeniably. Like, no one can argue that there's a better closer ever in baseball than Mariano Rivera. Mm-hmm. No one can argue it. It's almost like, who's the best receiver in football? Jerry Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, duh. Like, certain arguments can be had, but when you have an argument like that, when you have a position like that, like a closer, like Mariano, and you can't even, there's no way you can possibly argue there was anyone better, then he should be in unanimously. Whereas I don't think Jeter will.
No, he won't. Definitely.
There'll be a few people that don't vote.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think he's a Hall of Famer? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think he's overrated? Yes. I think he's overrated because he played on the championship teams. He was the captain of the Yankees. Yes, and all these things go into it. Do I think he's overrated as a player? Definitely. Because I don't think he was as good as people like to think he was.
Mm-hmm.
But is he a Hall of Famer? Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
But Mariano is like undeniable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess we kind of covered all the bases here with the. I mean, we kind of already talked about who the Yankees and Twins both need. Like we both said, they need starting pitching.
Yeah.
And I said, I think the Yankees get Cole. You said they don't. You don't think they do, but we'll see. We've still got a few months. Cole probably won't be signed until after December, probably in January or February. Well, obviously February is when spring training starts. Hopefully it's not like last year with all that shit, but
yeah, I hope not.
Hopefully it's in. I think it'll be signed in January at some point.
Yeah. I'm hoping like around Christmas time.
Yeah, I'm hoping somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'm hoping this wraps up earlier than it did last year.
Yeah, definitely.
But we'll see. Boris Client. You never know.
Yeah, so do anything else you wanted to add before we wrap this up?
No, not too much. Not too much. The usual. Check us out on a Scorecrow and, cover all 4 major sports. We've got some MLB offseason stuff. We have the recaps going on. We'll be covering all the news as it breaks with all these free agents that we talked about tonight. We got a lot of DFS stuff going on, NBA, NHL, NFL, all this stuff. So plenty of stuff going on to Scorecrow.com. So definitely come check it out. Yeah,
and the podcast you can find on anywhere you find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of that other stuff. And then hopefully we can get some more episodes going here, especially when they're in the off season. We get some when free agents sign. We can talk about all that stuff. And then hopefully we get some of the other guys on here like Joey, Soupy, Gio, Jamie.
Yeah, if we can get a bunch of other guys on, we'll do another YouTube thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll do a little Christmas show.
Yeah,
recap the off season up to the Christmas.
yeah. Give out some presents now.
There you go.
Will the Yankees find some coal in their stocking? You can get it.
Oh. All right, it's time to go.
Yeah, with that stupid joke, it's time to go. Yeah, so check us out on all those Spotify. All those podcast apps, and with more episodes coming out. We're gonna be tweeting it out whenever there's a new episode. And to follow, on Twitter, it's our official Twitter for the podcast is Too Much Podtar, and also Instagram, which I'll be trying to post more and tweet more to. I haven't been really keeping up with that because we haven't been doing episodes, but now hopefully I'll try to get some clips together and put like some previews on there so that people come to the podcast more. So keep an eye out for that. And with the YouTube, we'll try to get some more YouTube videos up as well and get that going. So yeah, as always, this has been Too Much Podtar. And don't forget, you can never have too much Podtar. All right. Let's see.
Are you chopping up lines over there, or what are you doing?
What?
Chopping up like.
Wait, what?